Hey guys, it feels like I haven't done one of these episodes in a while, so let's get back right into it. This is going to be episode 4, and I'm going to be talking about my new character and a meaning behind one of my IGNs. So after getting scammed in Broa for all my mess-ups, I wanted to start over again, and I didn't come back to MapleStory till about I think 3 or 4 months later, so it was a good while, and up to that point, I ended up doing more research, and I was looking at the characters, and I was looking at the skills that certain characters had, and I noticed that clerics had healing ability. And looking back at my previous character that I made, I noticed that I didn't really have that many mesos, and I would always have to be trying to loot pots and just struggling to get potions. And so I decided to create a character that could actually heal, and I wouldn't have to use that many potions. And I would be able to save all those mesos and probably, buy a bunch of stuff. So I decided to make a mage, and I like the little staffs that they had and the little shield, and like the level 40 ropes were amazing. They looked so cool. And so I always wanted to be, level 40. Let's get to level 40 and let's get those nice little overalls. I forgot their names, but they're pretty cool. And so I didn't want to start in Bro again, obviously, because I got scammed. I thought that it would be full of more scammers and a bunch of mean people that want to take all my stuff. So I wanted to start over, and I was looking through the worlds, and Scania caught my interest. It looked like it was pretty crowded, and so I decided to pick Scania. And looking back at it now, it's kind of funny because I wanted to avoid scammers and a bunch of idiots and just mean people. And sadly, Scania is like full of them just because there's so many people. And it's just pretty funny knowing that I picked that world out of all of them. And I don't regret it because I enjoyed being in Scania. I met a lot of nice people, and of course there's idiots everywhere, and Scania was pretty full, but I met a lot of people, and I'll probably be getting to them later on in this series. But let's get back to this chapter. So I wanted to be a mage, and as you know, mages start at level 8. So I was training in Maple Island, and I was around level 7, and I was about to hit level 8, and then I was trying to remember wait, I thought I was supposed to advance earlier. So I checked my guide again, and it turns out it was level 8, and I was pretty lucky since I was still level 7 going to level 8. So I was able to, not make the mistake where you get to level 13 and end up job advancing, because I know a lot of people that ended up advancing at level 10 for mages. And I mean, just by playing the game and not actually looking through guides or anything, I don't think you would ever know that you would advance at level 8 for a mage, because I don't think Maple was up to that point where it would tell you level 8 is for mages and all that stuff. But anyway, so yeah, I ended up picking a mage, and it was pretty cool. I wanted the staff, obviously, and the little shield, even though back then I don't even think I had a shield, just because those shields were pretty rare. And I mean, finding one of those, I think it was the level 10 shield, and the name escapes me right now, but those shields were so rare, and I remember hunting those later on and eventually actually finding one. So I was pretty lucky. But I also wanted to get into the name that I picked for my cleric. And I'm not saying bishop because there wasn't a 4 shot back then, and it was only up to cleric and priest, I think. So the IGN I picked was, well, let me backtrack a little bit. I used to play this game called Sonic Adventures 2 Battle, something like that. I don't know if you guys ever played it, but I used to play it a lot back then. I was 13, playing on my little GameCube. And there was this thing called the Chow Garden, I think, in that game, and I spent most of my time playing that and just, breeding a bunch of different type of chow. I would make speed ones, power ones, and there was just so many of them that you could breed and just, pretty much just change into whatever you want. And you actually had small mini games where you could race or you can battle and stuff like that. So I spent a lot of time playing that, and I wanted to make an IGN similar to that. So I ended up going with Chow's Changer. And for some reason, I thought that Chow was spelled Choas, and obviously it's not. It's spelled Chao. But back then I was 13. I didn't know what I was doing, so I spelled it Choas, and I added Changer because I would change the Chow. And looking back at it now, it's kind of ridiculous, but that's what I went with. And playing Maple, people would always be like, "Hey, you misspelled chaos," and I'm like, "No, I'm spelling Chow, from the game Sonic." And eventually I found out that I did misspell it. It was supposed to be Chow, Chao, but I was still pretty proud of that name. It was who I was, and I didn't want to change it for anything, because by the time I found out that I misspelled it, I was already like high leveled, so there was no way I was gonna delete my character and remake it. Yeah, so if anyone ever saw that character, Child's Changer in Scania, back in like, what, 05, 06, something like that, and you were wondering why they misspelled chaos or whatever you thought, now you know. I used to always try to explain the story behind it, but eventually I was just like, you know what, you guys can think whatever you want. I know what I wanted to name it, and even though I did misspell it, I knew what it was and I wanted to keep it. But yeah, this is actually like the real beginning of when I really started playing MapleStory, and I'm gonna end the episode here. There's still a bunch of stuff that I want to talk about, and let me know in the comments, what was your first IGN, like your first real IGN that you made? Not something like you made a mule or whatever, but tell me what your first real IGN was, and let me know in the comments. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.